Welcome to Weed News at 420. Today's episode is all about Florida's medical marijuana legalization effort. In this first clip, this lady gets a not guilty verdict for growing pot.
After a long 2 years, Bridget Kerouac will rest easier tonight.
It's been extraordinarily stressful.
Still in pain, but now free of the stress of a trial and possible prison time after a jury found her not guilty of growing marijuana in her Martin County home. During the trial, the state argued what Kerouac did was not legal in Florida, at least not yet. Kerouac's attorney, Michael Minardi, mounted a medical necessity defense, saying her need for the drug outweighed the law. Today, the jury sided with Kerouac.
The people in the state of Florida do not want to convict people for this.
Minardi was emotional after the trial.
We're talking about people's lives here. We're talking about suffering and dying people. And if you don't have compassion for that, you're not human.
Kerouac was emotional as well and told me she wasn't alone in her fight.
Overwhelming support of people from all over this country that I don't even know.
Kerouac is now hoping this decision provides hope to others in similar situations.
They should not be prohibited from using it. They should not be prosecuted, brought to court, brought to jail in handcuffs like I was, for hurting no one.
No one should ever have handcuffs thrown on him or be prosecuted for marijuana charges. In this next clip, you're going to see some really big bankrollers out of Florida who feel the same way.
Attorney John Morgan is the biggest money man behind the push to legalize medical marijuana in Florida. We crunched the numbers on the cannabis cash machine and found that out of the $8.5 million raised in Florida, Morgan's political action committee, called People United for Medical Marijuana, accounts for nearly half, $4 million. He's also the top donor to Charlie Crist, the former governor who's now running for Congress in District 13. But perhaps the most colorful Tampa Bay donor is the couple who lives in this Thanota Sassa mega mansion. The 27,000 square foot home has a movie theater, a recreation of the Oval Office, and a sports lounge. The husband and wife reportedly made their millions in the medical industry, and since 2014 state election records show they've donated $65,000 to People United for Medical Marijuana.
With support like that, it's easy to see how medical marijuana is going to be on Florida's ballot November 8th. In this next clip, veterans never stop fighting for their country, and now they start fighting for marijuana legalization.
Founder Brian Anderson, a former Green Beret, also thinks medical marijuana should be looked at.
It's not that it's necessarily something that I'm for recreational use, but the reality is if there's something that's helping a warrior go through the difficulties they're facing coming home, dealing with traumatic brain injuries, and dealing with post-traumatic stress, then I'm all for it.
Anderson was pleased to see the American Legion recently come out for the first time, asking Congress to, at a minimum, recognize cannabis as a drug with potential medical value. Some experts worry pot would just mask symptoms and not treat them. But a recent survey found 68% of combat veterans support medical marijuana legalization. Even more want the VA to allow it to be used as a treatment option.
Let's get the patients the medicine they need, and then we can start to focus on the bigger picture, total legalization of the plant. And last but not least, we have the Catholic bishops of Florida who seem concerned but supportive.
Amendment 2 could make pot more available to kids, and also that pot candy could end up in kids' digestive system and send more children to the hospital. The bishops are afraid passing the medical marijuana bill will lead to drug abuse, insisting Amendment 2 does not require specific dosages. Bishops are also concerned the bill will now allow marijuana to be in the edible form, leading to children accidentally ingesting the drug and getting sick. Despite serious reservations, though, the group isn't quite ready to completely oppose the measure either.
Bishops being informed by the experience in caring for the sick and the suffering, want to make sure that people are aware of the concerns as they weigh whether to support it or oppose it.
You just heard from Michael Sheedy. He is with the Florida Conference of Catholic Bishops. Amendment 2 failed by a thin margin 2 years ago and is polling well heading into November. The No on 2 campaign is ready to ramp up their attacks on medical marijuana. An estimated $1 million in television advertising set to hit the airwaves in October.
You know what that means. It means that this war isn't over and it's time to amp up and make sure that you and all of your friends are registered voters. And to make sure that you're out there voting on November 8th, drive your friends, pick up anybody who needs a ride. The video wasn't made just for my flow riders and gated crawlers. It was made for anybody who's interested in marijuana legalization and wants to see the end of pot prohibition. If you like my videos, and hit subscribe and stick around. Hit the thumbs up button and share this stuff with your friends. See you next time.